The contact with my birth mother over the past few years has not always been easy. Of course, I remember doing that phone call with her all those years ago for that very first time. It was her birthday, and this would have been the first time that I would have said, "Hello, how are you? How's your life? I am your son living here in New Zealand." At that point, I didn't really think about what she'd been through because I didn't know much about her life at all at that point. It was all very new, it was all very fresh, and all those questions I had were later. But I've come to learn so much more about her life over the past few years, in understanding her circumstance as to why I was placed into the orphanage in the first place. I didn't even understand that she was in an orphanage up until she was an adult, and that she was never actually adopted out. It was really hard to take that news on, but then I could really understand more and understand how her contact and our relationship has always had its ups and downs, and as to why it has its ups and downs.
I found a contact with my birth mother, found out she moved town, and I've got a phone number now. I just need to call her.
Is this the first time you've known that?
The first time in my entire life.
That first contact with her, I remember calling her, it was her birthday, and then afterwards, I would then communicate just by calling through to her number at her apartment at the time. She was living with her husband, Andrew, at the time, and she kept on saying, "Please come, I can't wait to see you, I can't wait to meet you," and would have this little bits of chats here and there throughout the year. And after all these first phone calls that we had, she then told me about my birth father, because my birth father's information was never accurate on my paper. She never told my birth father about me, and so again, I didn't really understand the circumstance. I was a little bit upset that she didn't say anything about my birth father in the beginning, but I also understood later as to why. She was going through a difficult time. She was very young and she just didn't want to tell him. She kept that to herself, and I understand that she was going through a tough time because she was in the orphanage at the time when she was pregnant with me. So I always put myself in those shoes, just like my birth father has as well. And he understood this later. Of course, he was quite upset about understanding that he had a son in New Zealand that he had no idea about. But only time can heal that, and time has healed that. And when he first knew about me, because I reached out to him, he then got in touch with Tatiana after all these years later. And of course, he had some hard questions to ask her. But then he understood as to why this happened and understood that this was just a hard time. Absolutely. Of course, Tatiana was ashamed about everything that went on all those years ago. But she understands, and she's told me that she always thought about me. And she always thought about me, especially on my birthday. A lot more about me on my birthday. So she's always told me this, and she's always said that, I thought this was the right thing to do. And I told her it was the right thing to do because, look, I was raised with such a beautiful family. I was raised by my parents who really changed my life. And I really can't thank my parents enough for the way they've brought me up. And Tatiana's always said the same thing, and has always said that about my parents. Thank you so much to your parents for raising you, because I couldn't have done it. And she's been so open and honest about that. And that connection with her and that the attachment that she has with having no family around her has really affected her up to this day. And it's really affected our contact. It absolutely has. It hasn't been easy over the last few years. And there's been times where I've helped her as well with making that connection with her and her brother in Ukraine. I remember when they did that phone call, I was in the group call and we were calling through, and then Tatiana just asked him so many questions because she had never been in touch with her brother. And that was really hard for her to take in all these answers when she was asking about her family to her brother Anatoly. And I was sitting there listening and taking everything in, and I understood that Tatiana just had so many questions. She said, what happened to our parents? What happened? But the one thing that I have a big blessing for, and one thing that I'm so grateful for, is when we contact and we talk. But sometimes outside of this, the connection isn't always there. And recently, yes, we've connected through video calls, and that's been awesome, that's been amazing. But there's been times this year where it's been a lack of contact. But I understand, and I say this in the nicest way possible, this is just how things are with her. And when I call through to her and I keep her updated, and it's like this big life update, all of a sudden it's a big update with everything that's been going on, with the time that we've missed over the last few months. It is so great because she asks me so many questions. She asks me, what am I doing? What projects am I working on? And I ask her about her as well and what's been going on with her life. And she tells me, oh, it's summertime. We're, having parties all the time. We're dancing all the time. She loves to dance, by the way. She loves it. She tells me this. She loves cats. She used to have all these cats. She always tells me about the cats that she used to own. And I just take it all in and I listen and go, this is great. We're having this contact. It's taken time to get to this point. Several years back, we wouldn't be having these conversations, talking about cats and stuff, So with Tatiana, she's been so open and she's telling me so much. I was the only bloodline that she knew when I first reached out to her. So of course, everything's going to be hard to take on when it comes to those questions, because I, of course, didn't want to lose any connection with her. I understood, and I had to be prepared that she might just not want to talk with me. So what I did was always just ask very small questions when I was first reaching out with her. And I said to her, look, Tatiana, I just want to know about your life. I would love to meet with you. And of course, since that very first phone call that I've had with her, I've had the chance to go back and go and visit her. And that's been great. And just see her and see how her life is. I know it's not been easy for her, but she is so welcoming. She pulls me in, she grabs me by the arm and says, "This is my son, he's here, he's come to see me." And that, I'm just so grateful for that and so thankful with everything that, how it's fallen into place. And so with that connection there, I am going to be talking with her next week, but it's the summer holidays over in Russia at the moment, and she's been telling me that, they're out having a holiday, having a break, and so it's been hard to organize a video call, but that's okay. That is absolutely fine. I've also spoken with my birth father, Misha, as well, and he's just been asking me about my life, asking how everything's been, and I tell him same old, still doing my projects, still doing my thing, and he's so proud of that. And at the end of every phone call, he always says, "Hello to your parents, hello to mum and dad, I hope everyone is well. We really hope that we can go and visit them." And I say the same, I really hope that they can come over here and visit my parents as well. So there's so many different parts of my story and so many little updates here and there with talking with my birth parents. And to this day, I've been talking with both of them more than I ever have. And it's just, it's taken time. It's taken time to get to this point. Respectfully, I understand the progress with my birth mother. So thank you all so much. Please look after yourselves. And in the background, I've been working so closely on my I'm Adopted community, the organization that's growing for adoptees all across the world, because next month it's going to be 10 years old, and I really can't believe that. It's incredible to see it grow, see the awareness grow, and so many stories that have shared, as well as me working on my An Adoption Story series in the background as well, and my Kazakhstan story too. So that's all been working quietly in the background. I'll have some news on that, and I can't wait to share all those updates with all of you very soon. Thank you all so much. Please look after yourselves. And until next time, do swidania iz Nowy Zelandii. Spasibo большое. Пока.